Alright guys, so this video is going to be a bit of a meme, but I promise that there is a point to what I'm going to be getting into, and the absurd nature of the content that we're about to discuss will act as a fun way to express the issue that I have with certain types of logic presented. Okay, so what am I even talking about? Well, this isn't specifically regarding Pokemon, but Pokemon oftentimes is the subject of this, and it's regarding meaningful content. A lot of times when you say a Pokemon game doesn't have a lot of content for the Switch, or even if you're just talking about X and Y, the retort will be that you can shiny hunt, or you can EV train, etc. And while this is true, when people say they want more content, they don't just mean a spot to dump hours into mindlessly. I've even seen people say that because shiny hunting and breeding exists in Pokemon, these games don't even really need a campaign longer than a few hours, because you could potentially put thousands of hours into these systems that the vast majority of people will A, never use, B, are RNG reliant, and C, nothing new to Pokemon in general. So I wanted to use this logic to show you guys how ridiculous it can be, and basically state that a Pokemon game has more content than every other game put together. So this all revolves around shiny hunting, breeding, and EV training. So check this out. In order to completely do everything possible in a Pokemon game, outside of all the actual meaningful side activities, you must create a living dex of all Pokemon. Honestly, not that hard with the exclusion of some event Pokemon, but still doable. This is not meaningless content. This is actually quite fun, in my opinion anyway. Then you must get a shiny living dex with each Pokemon, having a 1 in 4,000 chance of being shiny. But wait, you should also get perfect versions of all these Pokemon, because EV training and breeding is so much content that adds a bunch of meaningful time into the game. I mean, hell, I put 800 hours into Pokemon X, but only 550 into Pokemon Soul Silvers. So I guess Pokemon X just had way more content. I mean, hell, running around in circles at Lumiose Tower with a coin stuck in the analog stick of my 3DS is beautiful. But wait, there's more. What about getting all form variants? Well, besides the obvious ones, don't forget there's 8.5 billion Spinda combinations, and you've got to get all of them. There's also shiny variants for all these forms as well, and don't forget to EV train all the possible sets and breed perfect ones. Forget that there's not enough cartridge space on any game in the world combined to facilitate this. It's content, man. Now, obviously, I'm being ridiculous when I say this, and I know that this is not what people mean when they say the games have infinite content, but the logic is similar. While you can run around in the grass and hope for a 1 in 4,000 or a 1 in 8,000 chance, might be something that some like to do, but you can't consider it in the same ballpark as actual story content or activities beyond something that has complete reliance on RNG. Spending 800 hours breeding Pokemon for competitive play feels more like a roadblock rather than actually playing the game. It's this type of stuff that exists in other monster taming games like early access Temtem, where the biggest way to make money was just to catch and release Temtem over and over again, that create huge points of contention even from Pokemon fans. I had about 600 hours in Temtem before the full launch even came out, and most of that was spent grinding Pansuns. Those 600 hours were not nearly as meaningful as the 50 I put into, let's say, Nexomon Extinction, that was all just based around story progression and actually experiencing the game. When it comes to shiny hunting, I think shiny hunting can be a lot of fun, unlike the breeding system, but it should be more of a great bonus and supplement to an already content-filled game, and should not be one infinite RNG grind that is used to justify a lack of content in other departments. By this logic, all they'd have to do is lower the base shiny odds, and suddenly the game has more content because it takes longer to specifically hunt certain Pokemon. Now, all of this does sound kind of random, but I did put out a video talking about my concerns with Scarlet and Violet not having enough content, and one thing that I said was older Pokemon games on handheld systems can kind of get away with not having as much content as a full-blown, full-price RPG on the Switch, and one of the comments was basically saying that these Pokemon games have lots of content. You can shiny hunt, you can breed, and while that might fit under the dictionary definition of content, it's not meaningful content, it's not meaty content, it's not something you can really grind your teeth into if you're not a shiny hunter, and competitive players mostly just cheat because they hate the breeding system that much, even if it has gotten easier over time. So that's what I mean when I say in my video that I want the games to have meaningful content, not just something you can sink limitless hours into because it's based off of RNG completely. Shiny hunting is awesome, but people should not use it as a tool to dismiss other people's concerns with content in any given game, especially to non-shiny hunters. Not every hour spent in a game is equal, as expressed by my example using Temtem's catching mechanic versus playing through an actual story, and the same runs true for Pokemon. But yeah, a fun little video, which I hope at the very least will get you guys thinking about the word content in a more nuanced way. Honestly, this was just a little bit of a rant that I wanted to get out because it gets really annoying when people try to use stuff like shiny hunting and breeding to justify a lack of post-game when that stuff is just bonus content that has existed since Gen 2. Anyways, if you are a fan of Pokemon and you are looking forward to Scarlet and Violet, or if you just want to learn more about other games like Pokemon, definitely subscribe to my channel because I put out new monster taming videos every single day. You can check out my Discord, my Twitter, and my Patreon, all links below. Special thanks to the patrons, especially Jim Hamilton, Drow Ghost, Dark Persona, and Exodus, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.